It's member-supported Hawaii Public Radio, all things considered, and I'm Dave Lawrence. We're in our Atherton Performing Arts Studio, always a very special place to get to spend some time, and doing it with a guy who is through Saturday night at the Blue Note, and it's the Nashville Sessions record, I guess the continuing tour. It's like a lot of those rock bands when Jake Shimabukuro and I were kids, they'd start a tour in like 84, they'd still be doing it a couple of years later, and he's returned. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to see you. Kind of our biannual conversation,
right?
Get together.
Sort of, I was going to say, it's like a home away from home for you. And you're armed. You came along with your little gizmo that's earned you so much credibility and fame and fortune around the world, and guesting with all kinds of people we're going to hear about coming up in a minute. You want to play a thing to just like warm up and get vibed out into the room?
I'd be happy.
Because I know you love goofing around on that thing. What's in your mind? You want to do something? What do you want to do that makes you relax?
Here's here's something new. Here's Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles.
There we go. Jake Shimabukuro does the Beatles yet again, and in our Atherton Performing Arts Studio, he is through tomorrow night at the Blue Note, and great to have him in our Atherton. And we'll have more from him coming up, so stay tuned. So you have one of the exciting things about you that has been going on in your life recently is there's always something exciting about you. Thank gosh for social media, huh? What did we do when we were kids? You couldn't find out what anybody was doing.
We had to pick up the phone and call them and let them know.
Right? I mean, no, you had the like circus or whatever, like Hit Parade. I mean, all the magazines that we had, like the little magazines. You had to like wait once a month, I guess, to find out what somebody was up to. And so you were. I guess it was just a few weeks ago in Asheville, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Is that where it is? And
yes.
So I remember back when I was in college, Warren Haynes, first with David Allen Coe, and then with the Allman Brothers Band and his own band, the Government Mule, and he would do these things, these Christmas jams, he would call them, and record them and release them, and all kinds of people. Warren Haynes, a real jamming kind of guy, huh? He just loves to get people together.
He's a phenomenal musician.
Where'd you first cross paths?
Musician.
To get...
So my manager is actually originally from North Carolina, so he knew a lot of the same people,
Oh.
in the Warren Haynes circuit, and of course was a big fan of Warren's for a long time, and talked with them about the Christmas Jam, and they had actually invited me to come last year, but unfortunately I couldn't make it. So, but they invited me again this year, and I got to go, and it was such an incredible experience. I mean, of course, playing with Warren. Playing with
Ann Wilson from
Ann
Heart.
Wilson from
Hello.
Heart. That like completely blew my mind. And then Holly Bowling. I don't know if you're real familiar with her, but she is an amazing musician. She does a lot of. She started out as a classical musician, pianist, and just got into the Grateful Dead, got into Fish, and then started arranging all of their music for solo piano, and it's amazing. So I got to collaborate with her, which was just an incredible experience, and it was just an all-around fun, amazing event.
First time that you ever got to meet Warren?
Yeah, first time meeting Warren. We had spoke on the phone a few times prior to the concert, and he's just such a down-to-earth, just a real person. You can just tell when you speak with him. I mean, he's not all caught up in all the other stuff. I mean, he's just all about the music. He's all about just the sincerity and in what he does.
He's always been that way. Back in the early 90s when he did that first solo record, Tales of Ordinary Madness, I guess it was called. It was like 92, 93. He was on Megaforce Records of all record labels, which was an unusual thing. And I mean, he was, like you just described, he was so flexible. He'd just show up at radio stations with his acoustic and work it. And we were very lucky because he came by the commercial station I was interning at and came to our college station, and he would just play. And like you described, I mean, it's there aren't a lot of cats like him who are at that level. Had you ever seen him in concert or seen the Allman Brothers Band in your...
Not in real life, but
in your fantasies?
But I've seen, I mean, tons of videos,
Right,
of course,
sure.
and a lot of their concert.
So it's
DVDs.
historic on that way too, right? It's your first time
yeah.
crossing paths with these
Yeah.
dudes, and
We got to play Melissa together.
I saw
which
that.
Was, oh man, that just that was it gave me chicken skin. I mean, hearing him sing that and being able to play that with him. So
What a cool... Now, who else was on the bill besides the cats that you named? Usually there's a whole...
Trey Anastasia from Fish.
You
know,
get to
he
jam
was
with
there.
him now?
I didn't get to jam with him. Not this time, but
You talked to him?
I got to say hi to him during we did a big photo with all the...
So real brief.
Very,
like
very
a celebrity
brief.
hi. Hi,
Yeah,
how you
just,
doing?
hey man, how's it going? But yeah, I just I love his playing. His set was great.
Who else
I
besides
loved,
him?
Oh gosh, who else was there?
Ann Wilson sing any Heart, or was she just singing other people's stuff? What'd you sing with Ann, or what did she sing?
She did some Zeppelin. What song did we do together? We did. It was called "I Am the Highway."
And are these things that when that's right? Because I remember I actually watched a video and I was less familiar with that. Do you guys? Okay, so does he say, "Hey, we're gonna do Melissa"? Why don't you be prepared for that? Or I mean, what kind of preparation, rehearsal, any of that goes into something like
Yeah, that was pretty much it. He shot me a text, and he'd be like, well, he asked me if because I had my own solo set too. So he said, hey, would you want to open up the show with me? So I said, yeah, sure. And he was like, yeah, let me know if you have any ideas. So I was like, what do you tell Warren Haynes you want to do with him? So I just said, oh man, whatever you want to do. And a few days before I flew up, he texted me and he said, hey, how about Melissa? Do you know Melissa in E? So I said, yeah, sure, okay, I'd love to play that with you.
So do you then dial it up on your MP3?
Yeah, I was somewhat familiar with the tune, and then of course I just checked it out. I checked out some of the videos where he was just playing it solo.
Because even if you're familiar, I would assume you're like, I just want to make sure I got all the changes and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to make sure that I wanted to quote some of his lines. Like during the chorus, he does that thing where. And I play. So I played it in a tremolo style. I did this.
Right.
So when we were playing it, I played that part after he sang the first
Got a smile out of him.
melody, and he just kind of I saw him from the corner. He looked and he just smiled, and I knew I was doing okay. And then and then I think like the day before I flew up is when he said that he was going to be doing something with Ann Wilson. So he said, "Would you want to join us on that?" So I said, "Yeah, sure." I said, "Why not?" So we did.
And what prep is involved with that?
So that one, he just texted me the song. He said, "Yeah, we're gonna do I Am the Highway." He said he wasn't sure what key yet, though. It just depended on what she wanted to sing it in. So I just kind of, I just learned the progression, and so when I got to the to sound check, and she came up to try the song, then we settled in on a key, and then
first time you met her then too.
Oh yeah,
and you're thinking,
I got
Barracuda
with her.
I saw that. And these like heart songs pop in your head when you're like, wow.
Yeah. And her voice
still
sounds exactly the same. It's incredible.
Brings you back to your childhood, huh?
Oh yeah.
Or at least we're a little age different, but for me, that was one of my first. Those two women, they were just kind of like, I don't know, as a little boy, they were amazing because they rocked so hard. They were so cute. Man. It was just that they had the combination of all the stuff.
And when you watch her sing, I mean, it's effortless.
Right.
I don't know how she was in her performances, back in the day. I've seen some video footage of it, but I mean, she is just she just stands there, and the voice that comes out, the energy and the power is stunning. So it was quite incredible to be there.
When you do those things, is that how relationships in this business build? Do you come away from that? You have like new numbers in your thing, like, hey, I'll call you, maybe we'll do something together.
Oh yeah, definitely. Of course, being able to meet Warren, he's just such a gracious guy, and and he was telling me, oh man, I want to connect you with this person, and he's so good about introducing people, making
he's really
making
into
connections, and he introduced me to Holly and to Ann, and just some of the other musicians that were there. They're all just stellar musicians. I mean, the Government Mule guys are just awesome. They were of course, the headliners.
Danny Lewis still on the keyboards. Is he?
Yeah.
He's a great dude.
Yeah. So
I always liked him.
It was and they just sounded amazing. And I was watching them. There was a rehearsal room downstairs that was set up. So the concert's going on upstairs, but there's this rehearsal room with a full PA set up and everything. So all the bands that are playing, if they want to just run through something, they're more than welcome. And there was a guy in there who was mixing, and I mean, it was like a concert going on downstairs.
And that was just to make sure you'd be tight from when you went up there.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. So it was great, man. I was watching for part of the concert. I was down there watching Warren and the guys practice. It was just amazing, man. The way that they communicate, they know each other so well. They just look at each other and be like, oh yeah, okay, let's go there, and it's just.
And what a piece of history too. Did Derek Trucks come to that or no?
No,
he wasn't
there.
Yeah, just to and especially right after losing Greg. Which wasn't that long ago. We lose so many these days; it's hard to remember. Was that this past year that we lost? Sometime in 2017, we lost Greg.
Yeah, and I think that was a big part of the concert this year.
The vibe of that,
kind of a tribute.
I can only imagine. No, he was what a force, man.
I mean, everyone did some tribute,
to him. Yeah, even that's I guess what your element was in the beginning to some degree. Have you added that to your little repertoire of songs? Do you play
I will, man.
Can you play it right now?
We did. Oh gosh.
Or is it not? I'm not putting you on the spot. I just never know what you're capable of.
Yeah,
I mean, you're Jake Shimabukuro. You could probably play Elizabeth Reed if I wanted him to.
Well, I loved. The cool thing about Melissa is, we played it in E, but it's got this. So it's got this thing, right. And it goes up. So this is the chord progression, and when I started playing this with Warren, the first thing I thought of was Kua Homeo Kahalu. I mean, that's really the chord progression to Kua Homeo Kahalu with those chimes. Remember that?
What year is that written?
That was Olomana. That was years ago. I mean, when
More years ago than Melissa, or trying to figure out which
I don't
how
know,
many
but
years ago?
I mean, they're definitely different tunes. But that's see, because what's interesting, what I think, like for me, growing up, I listened to all, I mean, I grew up listening to all the traditional stuff, right? Because that's, I played the ukulele. And so if I wanted to hear a lot of ukulele music, it was all in the traditional music. So when I hear certain things, like even if I'm listening to Led Zeppelin, a lot of my references are like, oh, that's like Kavika, So I mean, when I hear, what's like a Kavika, da, 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 da. I hear like,
Amazing.
I hear Stairway to Heaven,
I believe it.
Duh. That's the whole.
That's how your mind works. It's amazing.
And so it's the same thing with Melissa, getting back to Melissa. Can you sing it?
Oh God, no!
I can't sing it.
We're not doing a comedy show today here on.
But the cool thing about it, so the measures are twice as long. But then when it goes to the A, right, it's actually a modulation, but it's the same progression. And then it goes back to the Kuhip Homeo Kahalu, right?
That would sound nice having that ukulele sound mixed in. I'm just hearing it, right? I'm
Yeah.
imagining.
And then I love that C major 7 in there. And it goes to B7. And then back to. And
Right. And he's on acoustic
And
six string.
he played 6-string acoustic.
As any other stuff, it's just the two of you together.
Yeah, it was just the two of us.
That's nice without a bunch of other. And you did your own set, you said?
Yeah, so we opened up the show together, just he and I, and we, he came out, he introduced me, we came out and we started Melissa, and the whole, I mean,
Of course.
it was like, I don't know how many people were there. It's like that
Tearjerker
arena.
for all those folks.
But
It's a theater, though, right?
The whole place. No, it was the amphitheater there. I forget what it was called.
But it's not around, not like a.
No, it is. It is. I mean, there's people
you can
behind
do like
you and
baseball
everything.
or not
Yeah,
baseball,
it's like-
basketball. You can do it's arena style. Like
Yeah,
the
it's like the Blaisdell
they
arena.
moved up over the years.
And
Good for him.
and it was awesome, man. I mean, it was just 15,000 people just like.
So it's
you know.
15,000 people.
Yeah, I want to say
Good
I
for him.
can't remember exactly how.
Well,
but
he's come a long way. When he started, it was like
Oh,
it's some
man,
like
he's-
couple thousand seater, which was still big.
Oh no! I mean, now it's it's
Arena
it's
level,
huge.
unbelievable.
But the whole place just, I mean, you could hear a pin drop.
That's one of Greg's signature jams. So I mean, the year that he's gone, you open up the show with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a pretty heavily loaded moment there.
Yeah.
So I guess the reason I was asking about your opening set, or not your opening set, but your own set that you
Yeah.
did there.
Mhm.
So you were by yourself, or did you have your boys with you?
No, so just by myself.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So how about you lay one of the tunes on us that you laid on those cats at the big arena? How about
Sure.
that?
Well, the
that
first-
we know you can
Yeah.
handle.
Well, the first piece I played, of course, was "While My Guitar Gently Weeps,"
Ooh.
because that's what I think that was the first thing that Warren had heard me play.
Did he
So-
suggest that, or
Um,
you just know what to do to make people react? You know how to play the audience.
I don't know. I just I figured that'd be a good one
Yeah.
to start with, since that was
Warm everyone up to you.
Yeah,
New
and
people in
then,
the audience.
and then I did something. I also did something with my looper pedal, just so I could kind of do something jam bandish
Yeah.
in a way. That was the whole vibe of the night.
Was that something from the Nashville record? Or no?
No, it's an old piece called Dragon. So
Okay.
I got to use some of my effects and things like that. And then with Holly, we did Bird Songs by the Grateful Dead. We played that, and then we also did so after Holly joined me on two tunes.
So you learned Birdsong. Are
Bird
you familiar
songs.
with that song?
Oh,
Singular.
I'm sorry, Bird Song. Yes, we did Bird Song, and that one I was not familiar with, so I learned it.
That'd be a nice
going
one
into
on
that
the.
one.
You don't do that solo now, do you?
Yeah. No, no, not yet. I mean,
Be
the
a good
concert
one
was
for
just
the
last
thing.
week. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'll probably start
I can
incorporating
see
some
that
of
mixed
those.
in. Yeah, that's what I'm just
Yeah.
thinking. That for sure.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you played that.
that's a great one. I love that. What's it? Oh, I think that one's in E too. Yeah, just like Melissa. I think we played it in E.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I hear it, but I mean, it's so.
you know that.
Yeah, you do, but I'm having a brain.
Yeah.
Bill's a Grateful Dead fan. You don't hear it. Bill's. If I can't figure it out, I'm not turning to him for support on this one.
So we did that. That's a beautiful piece. We did, and then we did one of mine from Nashville sessions. We did 6/8, and then we also did Hallelujah.
That was Birdsong riff that you were just doing. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's what I was playing. Yeah.
And you're throwing me.
So that was Birdsong. Yeah. So we did Birdsong. We did 6/8, and then we ended our set with Hallelujah.
That's the classic. Good for you. All right. Well, what do you want to play? What's in your mind? Let's jam something here.
How about Hallelujah?
Sounds good. We've got.
I don't think I've ever played that
in this room.
Here,
We've
right?
done enough of these. I can't keep track anymore.
Right.
It's Jake Shimabukuro. He is through tomorrow night at the Blue Note. He's in our Atherton Performing Arts Studio. It's a whole lot of fun having him here, and thank you for doing this.
I'll do the more obscure version that I did with Holly that night.
Nice. It's Jake Shimabukuro in our Atherton Performing Arts Studio, and all things considered, member-supported Hawaii Public Radio. He is through tomorrow at the Blue Note, and just I would have scheduled one of these more often for myself. It's kind of a nice, relaxing thing to have. Sure beats working, huh?
I know.
And it is member-supported Hawaii Public Radio, all things considered, in our Atherton Performing Arts Studio. I'm Dave Lawrence. Really thrilled to be joined by Jake Shimabukuro. He is through tomorrow at the Blue Note. A lot of fun having him with us here, playing some music. And if people have seen some of your recent performances that you've done, and I forget which one it was that I was looking at some fun video, folks heading to the shows could be in for a little surprise, emphasis on little, when you see the size of Chase when he rolls out on the stage.
Oh.
And watching your little boy, and I was taking a look at some video. At least one time you brought him out there. And so that's one of the neat things over the last several years of doing this. Kids, man, they change, right? So when you were here last year is one thing, and then the next year, and then the next year. And so the development of your child to be doing this, what's the latest on his abilities?
Yeah, I mean, he's my oldest is 5 and my youngest is 2, and they both love music. I mean, but I think most kids love music anyway. So my oldest, his name is Chase, and he's actually taking ukulele lessons.
Wow.
You know, my brother Bruce, right? He has a ukulele school, so he teaches. So I send him to Uncle Bruce because I think it's good. You know, he's doing it's a group lesson with some of his friends, so they enjoy it. They have fun. He looks forward to it, and I think at this age, you know, that's the most important thing, is just to make music, make it fun for them, make it enjoyable, and that way they associate something positive, right, with the experience of playing, rather than trying to force them to practice and force them to go to lessons, right?
You're not like a soccer dad or something. It's like you're not, or stage dad, whatever they call those people, because you don't really. It's not like you're not, because a lot of those people, they're not successful musicians. They see some spark in their kid, they push it, they want their kid to be something, understandably, but that's not really, you already have your own thing going. This is kind of like a novelty if your child learns it, or do you have this desire that he...
Well, no, I mean, if he really wants to be serious about music, I definitely want to, help to support that, foster that, of course.
How old were you when you started?
I first picked it up when I was 4.
And he started...
I mean, before he was 1, he was already playing. So
he beats you on it.
Yeah. I just, when he was born, every chance I had with him.
So you tried to seed it.
I would try to, just play for him, or I would actually put him on my lap and I would press the ukulele up against him and I would play. So that way he could feel the vibrations, from the instrument. And I don't know. And he seems to really enjoy music. My youngest one is the same. He seems to really like it. So I think they'll both have music in their lives. It'll be an important part of their lives. But I mean, I don't know if they'll want to try to make a profession out of it or a career out of it. But I think it's important for everyone to be able to play an instrument. Because it's, I don't know. I just think that,
for what, the value of the expression?
Yeah. For that. And then also just, I don't know. I think that it's just good for your health.
Yeah, well, coming from you, the healthiest of cats, it did make me think of something, spinning back to what we were talking about, the Haynes thing. God, a lot of cats smoking reefer in one place for you to be around. I couldn't even. Would you bring a bubble that you stayed in your own little plastic thing with the almond cut?
Yeah,
that had to be challenging for you.
There was some unusual like odors lingering, But no,
health over.
But for me, I've always been. I've always been drug free my whole life, and I love sharing that with kids, of course, and
And just this motivational thing you're doing with your own child. I mean, were you taking lessons at? I mean, I understand you pick it up at 4, and he's obviously started picking it up before you. Were you taking lessons by 5 the way he? I'm trying to look at parallels. And see if he's like outflanking you, he might even be better, right? By the time he's 15, 16.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
He'll be like the Yngwie Malmsteen of the ukulele.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, look at this. He'll be like
entirely
shredding. I think my I think what was I gonna say? I think for me, I mean, the first time I actually held the ukulele was probably when I was about 4. So yeah, he's definitely way beyond where I was when I was his age. I mean, he's already playing songs, so we'll see how serious, because there are days where I'll be like, hey Chase, you want to practice ukulele? And he'll be like, nah. So I don't want to push it, but a lot of times I always keep one in the car. So when we're driving somewhere, a lot of times he'll be like, oh, Daddy, can you pass me my ukulele? And then he'll be sitting in the back and he'll just be playing. And he's good enough where if he's trying to play a song, he says, oh, what's the next note? Like I can tell him, oh, it's on the first string, 2nd fret or something.
Does he play rock too?
He, I should play for you this recording that we made of Eleanor Rigby, where he's sing. Yeah, he's really into it. He plays the drums, and I mean, I shouldn't say he plays, because he can hit the drums, but he's not. I don't know if he has any groove yet, but he definitely loves music and feels it. So,
what a huge thing to pass on to your and a bonding.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't even imagine. I mean, you see other people who do that, and if someone who doesn't, like everyone listening practically, who doesn't have that in their life, when they see it, it's intense to see.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Is it gives us something that we can do together, that where we both enjoy it and we're having fun doing it.
Yep.
Because I'm horrible at sports, so he's also, they also do baseball and soccer and all that, and I'm learning as he learns, because I know nothing about baseball and soccer, right? So
it's a real bonding thing.
Yeah,
it's a shared playground.
I mean, I can finally actually catch a baseball with the glove now
through Chase.
Yeah.
What are the things
so we can play catch. We're learning together as we go, which is nice.
So anything upcoming that we need to know about after all of this Honolulu business is done? And you're always a busy cat. What's national sessions again? Still the latest. We're talking with Jake Shimabukuro, Hawaii's finest, one of Hawaii's finest. He's there tomorrow at the Blue Note.
Well, no, I mean, I think I'm looking forward to these Blue Note shows. I'll be playing with some friends that I haven't played with in a while. Nolo Kimoto and Dean Taba,
right,
on drums and bass, and they've always kind of been like my mentors. Growing up,
sure.
I've always had just so much respect and admiration for them, and not just as musicians, but as people. They're just really, really good people, and growing up, I mean, because when I was in high school, I played in marching band and jazz band and all that. And so in jazz band, I played drum set. So anyone who played drums, right, growing up in Hawaii, I mean, Nolo Kimoto was the one that we all looked up to. And we were like, oh man, we want to be like Noel. And we'd hear all these stories about how when Noel was a student at McKinley High School and played in the jazz band and all that, he could make the click disappear, with the metronome. And we always talk about that, like, oh man, yeah, we'd try to. I remember after school, we'd all be practicing in the band room, and I'll be like playing, I'll just be playing the snare and the hi hat. I'll be like, can you still hear the click? They're like, yeah, we still hear the click, So, but I mean, for those of you that aren't that don't know what I'm talking about, so basically when you have a metronome and you have
something to keep
the
time,
click, right? And it gives you this click. Noel's time was so precise that when he would hit the snare drum, it was just so perfect with the click that you wouldn't hear the click. All you would hear is the snare drum. Yeah. So it was like so it was just amazing. And it's really hard to do. But when Noel was in high school, he was doing that with no problems.
So it's a nice feeling of coming home, being with familiar cats. That's the cool thing about Jake. Jake comes in the station and be like a guy fixing the air conditioner here, and Jake knows who he is. It's a nice touch, I'm sure, for you when you get to come home. Well, we can't keep him all day because he's got to get ready for the big shows, but it's always a pleasure having you come in. We've done this a long time. We'll have to try to figure out a cause and maybe support something next time, which we did the last, you believe it's been over a year since we did the thing for Partners in Care right here in this room.
Has it been that long already?
Time flies.
Wow.
When you're busy entertaining the world, playing with Allman Brothers band members and Heart.
Well, I mean, I would love to do something again. I mean, I love, of course, love working with you, love all that, Hawaii Public Radio stands for. And to all the listeners out there, I just want to encourage you to keep supporting Hawaii Public Radio. This is the community's, this is our station, and we need to continue to support it, and as much, because I know it's not easy to keep something like this going, but you guys are still so generous with supporting other causes and organizations, and so it's really great.
Well, it was important that we got to team up with you on a pretty powerful one that one time. I'll never forget it.
Well, thank you, man. That was your vision, and I was just honored to be a part of it.
We raised a few grand for a crisis that looks a lot worse a year later, right? I mean, it's just like I come to work today. It's just like, so what can you do? On a more positive note, because we try and hopefully we'll try to do another one coming up. What do you want to wrap it up with? You know what I did say, and I'm not going to seed you with stuff. I have a terrible way of. I suggest a song. It's always one you can't do by yourself. No. Where were you doing the My Back Pages that I ran across?
The what?
It was like he was doing Dylan's My Back Pages or something.
Oh,
I know. That's what I mean. I'm always.
Gosh, that was a. Wow, that was
at least I'm consistent. It was something on. It was like wasn't one of those Hawaii session things. What was the
no, it was
sound check session thing.
Yeah. Oh, what
we're not going to be doing that one.
That was with the bass player and the guitar player, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I was just looking at a bunch of different. I was tuning up on my Jake prior to your return to the.
Yeah,
thing.
you always seem to
throw the curveballs.
Yeah, to bring these.
Well, you're not good at baseball, and neither am I. So the two of us, we get together. What's one that you want to do? Can be something from the record, something that you like. What'd you do with Jimmy Buffett when he was anything that just throw things at you?
Well, a lot of tunes that I did with him, was just
his stuff. And
but it's all great tunes. But my part is always
a part of a bigger thing.
Yeah, because I'm always staying out of the way of the vocal or the lead line. So let's see. Yeah, so a lot of times if I play a song where I'm carrying it myself, there's a little bit of preparation where I kind of need to. Yeah, I need to figure out
what you're doing. What's that crazy device hooked on the end of your thing?
This is just a little tuner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. When I was a kid, we didn't have these.
Right,
things.
That's what I mean. The world is so modern.
You just clip it onto your headstock, and it tells you if your uke's out of tune. So if it's flat or sharp, then this little hand comes out and slaps you in the back of your head.
Does it?
Yeah. No, it does. Hey, tune your instrument.
How we doing on that thing? We're good, I'm assuming. Should have plenty of time for his finale song.
Oh yeah, I could try something.
Yeah, you holiday kind of tune. We just had Herb Alpert. He has the whole Christmas. That'd be a good. Oh, you know what? I did send you a thing, and I know you're too busy to respond. I sent you a thing a while ago. We had Al Di Meola on, and in the whole process of having him on, and I've always loved Race with the Devil on a Spanish Highway.
Oh yeah.
But I was thinking, man, that was because he and I were talking about like weird ways to arrange stuff and different things, and it made me think, wow. You got to try to do that thing on the
Oh,
do you know that, Jim?
Not
right now.
I don't know that one. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to send you a link to it, and hopefully you'll take a listen to it. Al Di Meola. Right. You listen to Al?
Oh yeah.
You ever met him?
No. Well, yeah, I did meet him. I met him at the NAMM show one year.
Never played with him.
He's great. Never played with him. Yeah, I used to do that. Was that Mediterranean Sundance?
Yeah. It's one of those.
Okay, well, let's see. What can I? Something in the holiday, in the spirit of Christmas.
Do you do Christmas stuff?
Yeah.
Do you do Santa Baby? It's not a request. It's Herb's new.
Dude. What was it? Santa baby. Here, I got one.
All right, it's Jake
Something
Shimabukuro,
serious,
and we're getting very serious here for our holiday season and our Atherton Performing Arts Studio here on All Things Considered. Jake Shimabukuro, man, you really make the most delicate stuff come out of that thing. It's our Atherton Performing Arts Studio. You're welcome. All things considered, always like I said, I need to schedule more of these things. This is a good way to just kind of relax a little bit, take away a little bit of the stress of life. And this man is going to be arranging sessions just like this for you through tomorrow night over at the Blue Note. Good way to relax and
Thank you.
Get away from the chaos of the world. Boy, isn't it getting crazy. So it's like more and more a need for these quiet, introspective things that you do.
You know, I kind of joke around, but I think there is some truth to this. I always say that if everyone played the ukulele, the world would be a better place.
I think there's a lot to be said in that. Well, thanks for doing this. Thanks for staying in touch, being our guest, the whole deal. Always appreciate it, and being here on All Things Considered with me. Mahalo,
Thank you.
brother.
No, and happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Right on.